Welcome back, and it's time for Newspaper Review. Mr. Ifetayo Adeni, journalist, joined us now on the program for a review. Mr. Ifetayo, it's good to have you.
Good morning. And
Compliment
of the season, and also wishing our Super Eagle a fantastic outing today.
Absolutely.
And it's 1-0. We need that 3 point to rally around and let Nigeria smile.
Okay, I can see you're wearing your jersey.
Yes.
So are you going to be playing fullback, or are you a striker this morning?
No, I'm a striker.
Okay, so we look forward to that.
Yeah.
It would be remiss of us not to start with the release of the abducted children. The final 130 have now returned. And how are you receiving that news?
Yes, amazing. It's fantastic. Just like I said in this from the other time, whatever it is government has done, whatever it is they are doing to make sure no one was lost, no one was missing, as in all of them were returned back at least to spend the Christmas or whatever with their family, is a good one. But I must say that there should be some form of arrest, there should be some form of prosecution, there should be some form of, just like you say, kind of maybe firepower, whatever they exchange, whatever it is, so that the citizen can also impose more confidence in the government that they are doing a fantastic job in keeping the nation safe and secure, especially in this season. So it's not just for us to react, but we should be proactive.
Indeed. We see a bit of that also. We must commend the security operatives for what we've been, the results that have been coming in the last 48 hours or so. But there is, of course, a need for more. Let's begin with the papers now and head to The Guardian, which will be our first this morning. The Guardian newspapers looked at something that has been concerning for Nigerians, especially Lagosians, in the last couple of months, or maybe, if you like, a year or two. Real estate investors wary as demolitions flatten over 2,500 houses. And you see there, a very vivid imagery of the demolitions ongoing in some parts of the state. Mr. Ifetayo, take a look at the rider. State of recent demolition exercises in Oworonshoki and Mile 12. It looks as if it's also getting to Mile 12 now. I don't know how you processing the displacement, reports of compensation that is abysmally insignificant to what those people have lost.
Yeah, so they used to say real estate is the real deal, and after you have put in so much effort, especially the investor hoping that they will recoup their investment, and also as an individual and a household who have put one or two things together to have a roof over their head, and suddenly everything was brought down. I don't want to know under the disguise, but as a responsive government, when it comes to compensation, I must give it to, during the time of, I think, Ekiti State Governor Fayose, I remember, I think they want to do a kind of infrastructure. The first thing he did, he gave those people that were concerned that there's a new location, you take whether a 2-bedroom apartment, I can't recollect now, do you prefer to move in there, or you take this also amount of money, so that there was choice placed before them before their houses were demolished. But suddenly you just wake up and you see tons, battalions of army, soldiers, whatever it is, and brought down the house. And Lagos State government will pride itself as the economy hub of Africa, looking for more investment. This kind of a thing discourages investment. I think the first thing they should do before any form of demolition, especially in that large scale, there should be a kind of conversation that, oh, there are options for you. If you have a duplex, this is what the government can do. If you have maybe a bungalow, this is what government can do for you. Or we have a new site, whether in Ikorodu or Ekpe, 3-bedroom have been put in place if you want to be there before you get your, but those things were not there, and it's not good for, but not just for the investor, because when they look at things like this, the first question they ask is, what is government doing about it? And those people are homeless. If we are talking about 2,005, let's say minimum of 5 people living, in one of those houses, 2,005 times 5, we can do all the mathematics. Those who are rendered not and very close to Christmas festive period. I think the government can still, arrest the situation, offer them a kind of accommodation of why the compensation will be sorted out, not just to just leave them and let it sleep off like that. It discourages the investors.
Indeed, and you're very accurate in your analysis also about the need for a human face to governance.
Yeah.
There are some people, according to reports, who have not even had their structures demolished, but because they're hearing about the inevitability of government getting to all areas in Oworonshoki, they have, exited and left their properties that they, secured with their hard-earned resources over the years and relocated to other areas.
Yes, government also need to come out and say this is the extent we are going, or whether it's a judgment from an individual, they should also interface. This is the extent they are going, that thing can create a kind of panic, fear, and some might even lose their life even before even the demolition, because thinking about it, hypertension and all of that. So government can still and make a hay while the sun shines, at least for those who their houses have not been touched, so that they won't just say a kind of a fear or a panic or something,
and the loss as well.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard highlights our first conversation from the last 24 hours on the show. Gazette furore: we didn't alter tax laws. That's according to the federal government. And there are writers which provide insight into the government's position on the alarm raised by the Honorable on the floor of the House last week. Adds it's NAS affair, that's a National Assembly affair. What we didn't pass can become law. Lawmakers, that's ascribed to lawmakers. Senators, reps sit today over controversial alterations. Others, ADP rights group demand thorough probe. And if you paid attention to our conversation yesterday with the chairman of the Tax Reform Committee, Mr. Mr. Oyedele, he provided some explanations that were reassuring that, what is being reported in the press as some of those alterations are actually fake news and came, from efforts to amend the law. But what do you believe to be the most plausible explanation to the emergence of reports about the discrepancies between what was passed and, what has become law?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think government has not been transparent enough. If we said we want to, the tax law will become full-blown January 1st, and no government institution, no media has the assented document in their hand, look at it, civil organization, etc., etc. And also, I also believe that National Assembly, in as much as they are being called rubber stamp, this is high time they can prove that we are not. So what did you send to the Mr. President? From the presidency, what was it that the president assented his signature to? So those are the things should have become public document that we can then compare and say, why did you raise a foul cry and say that what you saw? And I'm sure even the security agency should have said, okay, this is what we obtained from the presidency, this is what we obtained. I remember there was a time, I won't want to mention, there was a document that had been gazetted, and I needed it for, a kind of consultation, and for me to get that, this document has been signed into law. Why will it take such time? So it's just to show that sometimes government, they are not transparent in their dealing. If not, the masses will have jumped at them. For example, now, I believe as at now, whether in Igbo, in Hausa, in Yoruba, Pidgin, English, there should be a kind of campaign saying, oh, if you earn 800,000 or minimum wage, you are not going to pay a dime. If you earn from this, different version of, so that the people can be informed. And even the Minister of Information is saying that he has not even seen the one that was sent by and these are our Minister of Information, and even the one assented, who should have those documents first after Mr. President must have ascended to it. So it shows a kind kind of shady deal, but we just feel that just like let's follow what the chairman of tax presidential committee has said, that let the committee that was set up, let them come out and say, oh, this was what we sent, this was what has been assented to, because I'm sure they must send back a copy to the National Assembly, and they are going to sit on it today. So let's see what will unfold during their sitting today. Indeed,
despite the explanation, something is still not adding up.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Before we leave the Vanguard also, captures a subject that is just as important. Some of what, I tried to address at the beginning of the program. Diplomatic spat with U.S. on religious violence resolved. Of course, we heard the Minister of Information speaking to that effect yesterday. But how reassuring is the explanation provided as against what we are still seeing in terms of security and in terms of, the constant outcry from Christian communities in parts of the North Central that we are being targeted?
Yes, I think the government can do more. Let's also give kudos to the security agency who are putting in their best. But since the cry has coming from Christian community and where they are dominant in the northern part of Nigeria, I think the government can assure them by providing more security. To have an engagement with them, even if it's possible, build maybe a police or army barrack or police, just something to show that, oh, we are with you, nothing will ever happen again. And then also the international community will also take us serious, because if they mention now that you are doing it to this section of society, and anywhere there is an attack, it's going to be in that same community or religion or Christian community. So it shows that you are not doing anything, or you are being part of, or you are conniving with those people to perpetrate such evil act. But they need to reassure the international community, especially making sure that Christian community and other religion who are being attacked, to make sure that they are properly secure, because the responsibility of government is to secure those safety of life and property is very paramount. So they should need to do that. If you want to relocate, build police barrack, whatever, or just do that, so at least give some kind of assurance.
And we could also draw attention to the number of Nigerians that are still in internally displaced persons camps in many parts of the North Central, in Plateau State, in, I believe, Benue State, and in parts of the Northeast as well. These are very, very, loud evidence proving that indeed there are significant security concerns. And there's also, the constitutional bit of it that the U.S. Congress has drawn attention to, how we have blasphemy laws that are components of our constitution in a state that is supposed to be secular. But let's head over to just one more paper now, and that will be This Nigeria. This Nigeria takes a departure from the others to look at something equally important. FG makes drug tests mandatory for jobs. Policy targets substance abuse, raises civil service integrity questions. Mr. Adi.
Yes, of course, sometimes when you see the way some of these our leaders behave, sometimes you're like, are they on drug, or I beg your pardon, or I stand to be corrected? Because it's a good one in the right direction, also to curb the abuse of drugs in the society. Let me use a phrase for our former president, that if you don't kill corruption, corruption will kill you. If you don't kill drug abuse, it's going to ruin the life of our future generation, especially the youth. And of course, it's not just because of somebody's looking for a job. They can set up a committee task force, from every local government, state coordinator, so that they liaise and also reorientate our people that the use of substance or drugs is a detriment to your health. It can't take you anywhere, because we are not seeing much of it, and just writing it on the body of, let's say, tobacco smoking is dangerous to health, it's not enough. They need to talk about it on radio, on television, campaign, billboard, just like the way they do when they are running for office or running an election. So they should do more of orientation, especially to our school. Let there be a club in schools, primary, secondary, higher institution, set up talking about the dangers of drug abuse, etc., etc. And of course, for an individual, sometimes you want to take paracetamol and say, the doctor will say take 2, say 2 no, they work for me until I take 3, So those are the things they need to check. There was a time I was told some people went to go and bring some substandard drugs, LabDac need to look at it. They write on the body 500 milligram. Meanwhile, it only has a capacity for 200 milligram. All those things should be put into test, not just telling the public alone that before you get a job, you need to go through. And when they know what comes from it, I think they might refrain or they might desist from abusing any form of drugs.
Mr. Dini, it's the writer that unsettles me.
Okay.
The writer says policy targets substance abuse, raises civil service integrity questions. So does that mean that there's something else, that is informing this policy approach to ensuring the stability and sanity of characters that are in the civil service that we do not know about? So if those are the issues there, is it, this mandatory drug test alone that will address it, or there is something, else that must be done to address it beyond this?
Yes. Like if you discover there are some organs in the system, civil society, rehabilitation, they do that all abroad, whether you are working or you are still seeking for a job and all of that. I'm sure the reason why they said there should be a drug test before you get any job, so that to prevent a lot of them coming to the system. If you have discovered such in the system, take them through rehabilitation. I don't believe that you should publicly shame them. Maybe some were being introduced and a kind of a reform, a kind of a rehabilitation should be put in place. And also let there be a law, not just saying it that if you are found wanting again, these are the penalties, this is what you are going to, maybe expulsion, or you are going to be relief of your duty, etc., etc. So like they say, when there's no law, there's no crime. So if they make it a crime for you to engage in such substances, you are going to face the wrath of law. I think some people will desist from doing so, and of course whoever it is that is introducing, maybe whether you are at the top level or you are at the same cadre with your staff and saying, oh, let's go and relax and all of that, all those things should be spelled out, not just introducing the thought. Let there be a penalty that if you engage thereafter from so date and date, you are going to be penalized for substance use.
Indeed. There's one more story at the bottom strip of this Nigerian newspaper, and it's, focusing on education. NEL Fund, over 150 billion naira spent on 788,000 students. Tinubu directs security agencies to end kidnapping of students. But of course, there's a security bit of it, and we've seen that, quite a number of times in the course of 2025. But the scheme itself, which is, as Jeffrey would say, the poster child of this administration, have the benefits outweighed the odds so far since implementation began, when you consider the number of students that we have as against the number of applications and students that have secured the loans so far?
I've not seen it across, but just like I said earlier on, sometimes there are some certain things that maybe the government or the people that are meant to oversee such a fund or such initiative have not been transparent enough to say these are the number of people who have benefited from this state. We have so number of people. Sometimes it might be a publication, that this one has gotten 20 naira, that one has gotten 15 naira, this one has paid their fees, or they are paid for their project, or whatever it is they are doing. They should be transparent with it, because sometimes when they mention some figure, like ABBA, even if they are giving them 50 million, a student, what are we talking about? So they need to do more in the way they do their disbursement. Who are the people collecting this money? Are they real students, or are they come up with a name because you belong to this political class or you belong to that political? But it's a good initiative if it can be fully implemented across board, and I think they should do it state by state. Or this state, we've allotted out of this 150 billion, Lagos State got so billion, the students in this state, so that people will know that, oh, what goes to which state, what student or which school has gotten so much. And also the school as well, they should publish the name of those who have benefited from it. So that one will make Nigerians, especially students, to have confidence and say, oh, yes, government is doing the right thing, because I'm still asking, who are those people that got all this 150 billion? Because I've not seen that. It has never matched, even though it's a laudable initiative, but I've not seen the number of students benefiting from over 150 billion naira. 150 billion naira is not a small money.
And do you see the federal government have a firm grasp over the scheme when you consider that, you know, with the introduction and the receipt of funds by students, those who are benefiting, there's also a corresponding increase in school fees in, the higher institutions concerned?
Yes, they can if they want to. For example, if a student is in 200 level, 300 level, there should be a quarterly meeting, maybe with the VC, the bursary of each higher institution that we have, to liaise with them that just because we say we are giving a student loan does not give you courage to just 100% increment. Yes, we know there are some increment, maybe in infrastructure, in those who move from point A to point B or to discharge your duty, but 40%, 60% is just too much for a student to bear. So those are the conversations they should be having. Involve students, involve civil organizations, so that those are the people that can defend you. And also what I will have advised the government is they should localize it. When I mean localize it, how many institutions do we have in Lagos State, higher institution? So in this institution, at least maybe 100 million, whatever it is. Let's see people who are applying from your school, who are bona fide students, provide us with their NIN, provide us with this, so that you can't say you get from school A, then your name, because you are well connected, they'll be put in school B. Just like I met someone in London who said that he still receive a kind of, you know what we talk about when we talk about ghost worker, still receive salary from somewhere in this country, and it's no longer with us here. So those are the things can be, dealt with and removed, so that they should be transparent with it, and the Nigerian will support them.
Indeed, and we hope that there'll be more gains from the loan scheme, maybe even some alterations that will also, enable ease for the students to benefit from the scheme in the coming year. But before we let you go, Mr. Adeni, let's talk about the Super Eagles, and of course you're prepared.
I'm waiting for that.
Speaking of which, this is just coming in. Okay. The Eagles have received title documents, Super Eagles now, title documents to houses, land, and national honor certificates promised by President Bola Tinubu. And that's coming ahead of their opening match. They formally received certificates for national honors and title documents to housing allocations in either Abuja or Lagos, and of course land grants in Abuja. The presentation was made by the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Mr. Shehu Diko, alongside other members of the delegation, comprising Senate Committee Chairman on Sports, Senator Abdul Ningi, the House Committee Chairman on Sports, Honorable Kabiru Amadu, and the Controller General of Customs, Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeni. Mr. Diko, that's the NSC Chairman, clarified that all players will receive the title of MON, I believe that's Member of the Order of the Niger, except Hamed Musa and Victor Osime, that are awarded OON honors on account of having had an MON earlier, while William Troost Ekong is awarded MFR for being named as player of the tournament. So when you call those names henceforth, call them with some panache, because they now have titles to their names: OON, MON, MFR. So let's get some news from the actualities during the presentation. And so those are the certificates being presented. If we can see a close shot, but we will just have to accept that they're either certificates of their titles, their new titles, and land documents being presented to them. And so there you have Victor Osimhen, Super Eagles International OON, Order of the Niger, and of course other members of the team as well, being presented with their award, their reward for the last AFCON.
Yes.
So this is undoubtedly, I believe, super motivation as they head into the next AFCON, I believe, Mr.
Yes,
Ademi.
very well. They said not just saying it, but you must walk the talk. And the federal government has promised, and they fulfill it on time, which is very motivation, a booster for them for their opening match today. Like I said, I'm rooting for them 1-0. We must win that game at least. So it's a good one. Not just after 20 years, that's when you will remember to fulfill that promises and all of that. And I'm sure the Super Eagles, they should also, reciprocate by giving us all their best, and we've put World Cup behind us. Let's see what will happen, since they've submitted a petition too. But if we have done our job, we won't find ourselves in this. But kudos to the federal government fulfilling the promises and making sure they come at the right time. I don't know whether you listened to Mikel Obi a few days ago saying that during their qualifying, they are going for a match and the allowances were not paid. He was having conversation with NFF and all of that, all those bureaucracy. He had to call former late chief of staff to President Buhari, who said, don't worry, Mikel, that what is happening? He said, yes, and they brought everything to them at the camp. Everybody will pay cash, take your and he gave them a kind of morale. So they don't need to play politics with our sport. It's one of the things that bind us, that bring us together, regardless whether you are Christian or Muslim or whatever it is that you practice. So they shouldn't toy with such a thing, and whatever allowances they need to be given, they should give them, and let Nigerians smile once again. I just wish we would bring the couple.
Well, I'm with you on that one, but cautiously so. Because of what has happened in the past. But finally, beyond I call this a super morale booster as they head into their first game later today. But what about administration itself in relation to preparation? Are we going to be looking at seeing the Super Eagles playing with cohesion, seeing the time of deployment to camp and the limited time of training that we have had so far?
Yeah, I believe most of them are professional. They've been together, which is a plus for them. It's not that just like a month or 2 weeks to the tournament, we are now looking for one of our players who is coming. We are seeing fresh face and all of that. So I think it's a moral booster. They should give their best, just like I said, and they've been training together. We just had World Cup qualifiers and some tournament. I think that one should be enough and make Nigeria proud once again. And of course, the NFF, they should also be transparent when it comes to their dealing. That's what we've been talking about, transparency, doing things, shady deal, and FIFA release also amount of money, CAF release also amount of money, $1 million is going for administration, $2 million is for the player. So with that, nobody is hiding anything. But if you are hiding anything in secrecy, even if you have good intention, people will tend to time you. So NFF should do better when it comes to transparency and giving of information. So that will help them a lot and also boost their image, that they are not, don't let me use the word corrupt, or they are not being sincere in dealing with those players. That's why they don't take them serious once in a while.
Absolutely. We don't want to see any curious videos of poor welfare
of course.
trailing this round of AFCON. But I believe we have some sound bites to help us get a feel of what may be going through the minds of the administrators and some of the players in camp. Let's take that, and then we'll be back to wrap up the newspaper review segment.
The camp is very high, very energized. This game is very important for us to assess the momentum. So the guys are really ready, everyone is ready, from the players to the staff, and everyone is really focused on this game, which is very important. So it is a game that we're very prepared to do. Yeah, the new boys they're just coming. They've blended so well with the help of the senior players, the staff, the manager. They blended so well because we're all football players, irrespective of where we play, age, position we play. We're all football players, and we're here to represent the country. We're all focused on one goal, so which is important, and everyone, as I said earlier, everyone is in tune. Everyone is ready for this, and there's no senior player, young player. We're just one group who is ready for the fight we have coming.
The game, the tournament, the players, and our game project. So we stay focused on that. We stay focused on the first game, because this is the most important game right now, to come in this tournament to show our ambitions.
Really in tune of what happened in the previous AFCON and not qualifying for the World Cup. So everyone is focused on this one. It's just like an opportunity in your hand.
There you have it, the Super Eagles, and of course, new captain Wilfred Ndidi speaking there following the retirement of former captain William Troost Ekong. And we also saw coach Eric Schell speaking there. So all of their energies are now channeled into AFCON. And let's see just how well the Super Eagles will perform this time. But they have our backing all through. I will must anchor at this point, and thank you very much, Mr. Ifetayo Adimi.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here once again. And Merry Christmas.